This is a story of the saving of number 119 and the efforts of the community that saved it. In the early 1900s, one of the biggest carousel makers was the C.W. Parker Amusement Company of Leavenworth, Kansas. This company produced the carousel that you can ride at the Burnaby Village Museum today. Colonel Parker's company, that was his nickname, he was never really a colonel, produced over 800 wooden carousels, mostly for country fairs and traveling carnivals in the western United States. Since Parker's carousels were made to be easy to move, it is not surprising that our carousel has traveled far in its lifetime. We call it Parker 119 because it is the 119th machine made by the company. After it was built in 1912, this carousel was sold to the Lone Star Circus of Houston, Texas, which operated it for a few years before the owners returned it to the factory for rebuilding. Parker 119 was used in the San Francisco area until 1936 when it was shipped to Happyland in Vancouver's Hastings Park, home of the Pacific National Exhibition, then passed to Playland at Hastings Park in 1957. The people of Burnaby and other communities traveled on interurban trams and streetcars to ride the carousel at Happyland throughout the mid-20th century. By the 1980s, number 119 was suffering from old age and was nearly lost as it became too expensive to restore. Thankfully, the community came together to save it. A group of people decided that the carousel should stay together instead of being sold in pieces at auction. They called themselves the Friends of the Carousel. The Friends went to the community to raise money to build and restore the old machine to its fresh from the factory appearance. Individuals, companies, schools, and community organizations gave money to sponsor horses and other parts of the carousel. The provincial government also gave a large amount of money. The city of Burnaby helped purchase the carousel and built a special building to house it. But before it could go to its new home, the old carousel had to be completely restored. It was taken apart and its hundreds of pieces stored at Playland in Vancouver. Here, they were loaded onto trucks for a Burnaby warehouse where work began. Each of the 36 horses and all the other wooden parts were stripped of years of old paint. It was scraped from every nook and cranny. The wood was also thoroughly sanded. The horses were carefully examined and were taken apart for a closer look. It was found that after years of sitting outdoors, many parts had rotted. These were removed and new ones were carved in their place. Some parts that had fallen off over the years had to be put back in the right place. It was a giant jigsaw puzzle. The horses were then varnished and covered with several white primer coatings before they were carefully repainted and finished. Of course, there's more to a carousel than just the horses. The other wooden parts had to be repaired. The floor was replaced by the maple gym flooring from Ocala Prison, which was closing on the nearby shores of Deer Lake. The Friends also bought a band organ similar to the one the old carousel originally had and restored it as well. Tons of machinery and supports were carefully fixed or replaced, as were hundreds of lights that added to the carousel's magnificence. It took the volunteers 30,000 hours over 2 years to make 119 look and run as good as new. That's the same as one person working alone for 16 years. Number 119 opened to the public in 1993 to much fanfare. Since then, staff at the Burnaby Village Museum have continued to maintain and complete preventative restoration work each year. A dedicated team of carousel operators regularly work to ensure the support beams and engineering infrastructure are safe and aligned with modern safety standards. The horses are cleaned and repainted twice a year by conservation staff. Thanks to the community that continues to support the operations of the carousel, Parker 119 is certain to have a merry future, one that we can all share.